morning, everybody. To those of you that have watched my first vlog, welcome back. For those of you who are first-time visitors, my name is Anthony Costandius. I'm a psychologist in Durbanville, South Africa. And the purpose of this vlog is to chat about a number of issues that I think affect our daily living. It also links up to my Facebook page called Overcoming Life's Challenges. You're more than welcome to go and have a look there. Last time we spoke, we chatted about couples in general. But this week I'd like to focus on couples of which at least one partner is in the firing line. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean specifically partners that are involved in combating COVID-19 on some level or other. Now, if you think about this carefully, it's almost like sending somebody off to war. And I think, although there's so much emphasis on the person going out and doing the medical duties, we need to spend a bit of time on the partner who stays behind. As I said, it's almost like sending somebody off to war, because it brings with it a lot of doubt and uncertainty about that partner's well-being. The one that stays at home, especially now during the lockdown, apart from fulfilling multiple roles, some of which they don't particularly like or are talented to do, the partner also experiences, to my mind, a sense of grief every time a loved one has to go off and do high-risk medical work. Now, what do I mean by that? Grief, as such, is a feeling or an experience we have when we lose something or somebody that we really care about. In the case of the partner of the health worker, this grief is quite specific, and I'd just like to break it down for you a little bit. There's something called anticipatory grief. This means it's grief about something that hasn't happened yet, but there's a good chance that it could happen. For example, sending my husband or wife off to go and work at the hospital brings with it an anticipated loss. They could get ill, they could die. So in a sense it's almost a double whammy, because in real life the person of course does go off and do really important work, and that in itself is something which offers its own set of unique emotional challenges. But coupled to that is this issue of anticipating a potential loss. There's another aspect of this grief that is quite unique. It's almost something we can describe as chronic grief. You know that when somebody passes on, you can grieve, but a year and a half later, you can sort of reintegrate, and even though you have memories of that person, you can move forward. In the case of the partner who is subjected to this loss on a daily basis, it's almost like there's no way to escape, because recurringly you reminded that your loved one may be affected negatively. So it's chronic, it's recurring, and could be quite exhausting. Thirdly, it's not sequential. You know, if you go and look at the work of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, there's a specific sequence of emotions that you may experience, which ultimately comes to some sense of acceptance. But in this case, there may be some days when you, as the partner at home, could be okay and doing fine, and then you hear the telephone ring, and all of a sudden your first thought is, has something happened? And again you feel the anxiety and potential loss. There may be a sense of anger that you're not able to control this process. Your husband or partner or wife has made certain pledges in their profession which they're bound to fulfill, and irrespective of how they feel about you, they have to fulfill these pledges. So there could be a sense of anger, a sense of frustration. In a way, of course, this could be reciprocal, because the partner that does go off to do the work also has a sense of loss, a sense of anxiety, because of fears that he or she may actually compromise the family health. So all around there's anticipated loss, a sense of recurring loss, and feelings that can actually do a bit of a seesaw experience with you as you find your way through this process. There is, however, something that I would like to emphasize, given that one is somewhat more concerned about the emotional well-being of couples who operate in the front line. I read in a newspaper article the other day the statement that said COVID-19 will tear marriages apart. Now, this is fake news, because this is not the picture that's shown by research on these issues. Mostly, it's not the occurrence of crisis that causes a relationship to disintegrate. In fact, it could lead to the development of new strategies, new goals, streamlining things, more open communication, and reaching a new sense of values that may not have been as present in the previous dispensation. What does cause marriages or relationships to break down is not the crisis itself, but it's how the couple was doing before the crisis. If in the 6 months or year and a half or 2 years they've had a history of poor problem solving, of struggling to work together, lots of arguments, power plays, and other things which are toxic to a relationship, then it's highly likely that they may not stand the test of COVID-19. And obviously these couples are at risk. It's my thinking that that the people in charge, management, whether it's in a hospital, clinic, even in a company, are particularly aware of couples with this set of characteristics, so that they may be given extra support and assistance in order to survive the challenges. They may even need some couples therapy or assistance via a social worker or some other health worker, which could give them help in the areas of the relationship that are troublesome. So I suppose the responsibility there on the powers that be would be to weed out the couples that are more vulnerable, and to make sure that they get the support they require. So in summary, bear in mind that people in the front line of caring could be prone to experiencing aspects of grief. Their partners could as well. And this is completely normal and acceptable, and needs to be processed so that the couple can make positive sense out of this process. Secondly, vulnerable couples are identified by their pre-crisis history, not the crisis itself. The only thing that's true about the crisis is that it's exhausting. So with this in mind, I'm going to leave you to think about this a little bit, and we'll speak again next time. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy these chats, then please subscribe and share. I'd like to get the message out there as best I can. Thank you very much. Good luck.